Welcome back, everybody. This is the 2020, not 2020 anymore, but Toronto Blue Jays sort of career sim. We're trying to get the Jays to a World Series, and I'm JayBlue. Welcome back, and you can find me on Twitter at JaysFromAway, and thanks to GM Games, General Manager Games, for having us here on their YouTube channel. So we're going to continue here. We are in January of 2021. We're already in the off season. We'll just sum up some of the moves we've made. We were active in the Rule 5 draft. We selected a second baseman, Luis Garcia. So Garcia was selected, I think, from the Washington Nationals. He's played as high as AA, very solid stats here in AA. He's not much of a power threat, but I like the fact that he's got very high contact, and the eye is going to develop, I hope. He's got some flexibility on the infield, and some speed and some skill in stealing. So there are a lot of skills that he has here that are already quite well developed. So we can put him in at second, third, shortstop, any of those positions in a pinch, late innings. His defense needs to improve at some of these, but I like the fact that he can play second. But he does have the good hands and the arm to play short and third base. And if he hits, maybe he will take over at third base eventually. Again, not a lot of power, but if he really comes through on this contact ability and with this eye, if that develops up, and he's 20 years old, so there's really lots of time for him to develop that eye. So if he develops that, that's going to be a very useful player. If you look at the contact rating of some of the guys, like, for example, Cavan Biggio, we're going to just go back here. Cavan Biggio has a phenomenal eye rating, but his contact is just 45. So this gives Garcia a much better potential here. So what we have here, we need a catcher. We definitely need a backup catcher or somebody who is at least good enough to take over for Danny Jansen. So that's going to be if Danny Jansen hits though he did last year. So that is going to be one of our top priorities. We're just going to take a look in a second about how much money we're going to have to spend. So Danny Jansen, we need to upgrade over him. We're going to be training Vladdy Guerrero Jr. to play first base, and Travis Shaw can probably play third this season. He's got a 45 rating here. It's okay. He'll be okay, and we'll play him there in spring training. Don't know how much better he'll get because he is already 30. Second base is going to be Cavan Biggio. Again, we're hoping for a rebound season from him. Joe Panik had a solid offensive year, and it's great to have him back as sort of insurance at second base. Vladdy Guerrero can play third. Putting him at first base is definitely going to cut down on his value. I mean, he had a 7.7 WAR season. Probably won't get close to that at first base, even if he puts up the same offensive numbers. And Bo Bichette at shortstop, again, I think he's got a 50 rating. Very good here, but I think long term that needs to get up a little bit. He's still just 22, so hopefully that's going to improve as he plays more. So that's what our infield looks like. We can probably use another backup infielder, but we have Luis Garcia there. In the outfield, we have Gurriel, J.D. Martinez, Randall Grichuk, Yusniel Diaz, who we picked up from, I think, the Orioles. And I like him better. He's more well-rounded. He has better defense in right. Could play center field, and I may try to play him in spring training at center field to try to bump that. He's just 24. We picked him up in the trade with Baltimore. I think that sent Reese McGuire. Yeah, we also got pitching prospect Kyle Bradish. So we have here Yusniel Diaz, who can play center field, and he still has some improvement to go. So he could be a very solid player for us. And hopefully, again, he's got very good eye and very good avoid discipline, or avoid Ks, which, of course, Derrick Fisher and Billy McKinney don't have. Although McKinney was quite impressive in his major league time last year. So we basically have 6 outfielders. Diaz does have option years left, which means we can send him to the minors to play every day if we have to. Martinez is going to use a slot. He's probably going to be our DH every day. So that leaves us really with 5 outfielders for the playing time of 3. And of course, Derrick Fisher, I think he's out of options, but Billy McKinney may also be out of options. Yeah, so he's, I think he's out of options already. So we may have to make some hard decisions going into the season. But Diaz, I'm going to definitely play Diaz at center field in spring training. All right, and pitching staff, we're going to just take a look and actually show all pitchers. So we've acquired a couple of starters for our, for the season. We've acquired Matthew Boyd as a free agent, Spencer Turnbull. We got in a trade for Teoscar Hernandez, and he's got starter stuff. He's got 5 pitches. They're all fairly well developed, decent stuff, decent movement, decent control. He could be, a good 5th starter for us. We do have Ryu and Pearson at the top of the rotation. Tanner Roark, I may shunt over to the bullpen. We've also acquired Zach Eflin, who's, he's probably going to be in the minors, to be perfectly honest. He is not as good as I thought he might be. But we will see. We will definitely see. Thomas Hatch is now healthy, but he still has some development to do. Anthony Kay was another guy who was really strong last year, so I'm looking forward to see what he does. And we've got Giles back on a few years. We've got Wade Davis back. And we've got Jordan Romano and Shun Yamaguchi. So that's, I think, a fairly good core with Wilmer Font, Rafael Delis. We've got a solid, I'd say 6 pitchers, and Eflin will compete for a spot in that bullpen. All right, here we go. We are going to continue our sim, but first we're actually going to do a couple things. We're going to go look here and see how much money we have to spend. So right now we have $11 million in projected budget room and $10 million in cash. So that's about $21 million. The problem here is that it says we have a projected balance of $39 million. So we have a final total balance. That would give us about $22 million to spend. Total money available, 21, almost 22. So that, is not too bad. We have, 11 million. So we have the money to go after some guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at our free agents, and we're going to look at catchers. So obviously we want somebody who could start in a pinch. Now, Alex Avila has really dropped off, and I think a lot of his 2.5 stars are coming from his defense. Wellington Castillo is a better hitter. He's not going to take very many walks, but he is going to hit, and possibly with a little bit of power. But some of those numbers, the 11 home runs, 341 batting average, that comes from AAA. Jason Castro is a very good defender, and it's that hitting that is the problem. Evan Gaddis, poor defender, not a bad hitter, but he hasn't really put up good numbers the last couple of years. Jonathan Lukroy. Okay, here's where we get a little bit more balance. Jonathan Lukroy, 45, but he does have solid defense, and he is a leader in the clubhouse, and those guys are always good to have around. He played 60 games, so he's okay with being a backup. He does want a starting lineup job, so we're going to ask him what he wants in terms of money. $2.6 million, not a ton of money. I'm actually going to meet that demand. For 1 year, submit the offer. Okay, so we have that in the works. All right, we're going to sim now. We're going to play till next week. So it's January 4th. We're just sort of getting things ready now for the next season. We don't have a lot of stuff going on. We'll just check out the waiver wire. And Javi Guerra is a relief pitcher. He was actually, I think, in the Blue Jays system for a little bit. Mickey Moniak is a center fielder on waivers. This is interesting. He's only reached AA. He may be out of options. No, he still has 3 option years. but he's on the 40-man roster, which is odd. He seems to be mostly developed here. Center field, not bad, and I don't understand why they're trying to get rid of him. The only big problem is he'd have to stay on our 40-man roster, even though he has the 3 option years. He must have been placed on the 40-man recently, and then they wanted to try to get him off. I'm just, I don't see the real potential here for Moniak in an everyday role, so I'm just going to pass on him. Edubre Ramos is an interesting guy. I like this profile here. Not a lot of stamina, but he's a relief pitcher, so it doesn't really matter too much. He pitched fairly well with the Dodgers, 38 strikeouts and 15 walks in 45 2/3 innings. He is a fly ball pitcher, which is troubling in the American League East. So I'm going to pass on Ramos. All right. And we're going to continue our sim. So we're going to go another week here. And you can see if you're looking over at those leaderboards that, Vladdy Guerrero was in the top 3 in a couple of categories. So we have a trade proposal here from the Nationals. They want to send Daniel Hudson, keeping 50% of his contract. So he's getting $6 million. So we would only pay $3 million for him. Solid reliever, but he did have a bad season last year. Lots of strikeouts, a lot of walks. Neutral. Okay, so they're offering him, and they want 19-year-old Jeremy De La Rosa. And De La Rosa has, crazy gap power potential. He's 19. That's a fairly solid profile here for an outfielder. He played in rookie ball last year, had a really strong season. And they want Derrick Fisher in return. Now, Derrick Fisher, as we saw, he had a pretty good season last year. He is 27. You know what? I'm not crazy about Daniel Hudson. It is a 1-year contract. Let's see if we can get something more. Let's look at their prospects. Okay. Sterling Sharp, 25 years old. Not too crazy about that. Eddie Yeen. So he was in Double-A. Not great control, so I don't really want to. So they don't seem to have a ton of really great prospects. Jackson Reitz. And he's pretty developed. He's got a little bit more power to come. A good defensive catcher. Solid season in Double-A. He's 25, though. 25-year-old catcher should have a solid season in Double-A. Yasel Antuna. Not over. I'm not blown away by any of these guys, so I'm going to just decline the trade. Not blown away. All right, we're going to continue playing till next week. You can see that Guerrero was the top 3 in OPS and batting average. So we have $152 million for the season. We've already checked that out. So the preseason begins. We can reset things like our scouting and our player development pool thing here. So Jonathan Lukroy is favoring our offer. So that would be a nice get for us. All right, now because we're in the preseason, it's showing us our the standings, which is not great. So the fans enjoy the fact that we signed Jonathan Lukroy. Now we're going to have to find a place on our roster for him, and we also have the Hall of Fame results. Curt Schilling, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds inducted into the Hall of Fame. All these guys down here were dropped from the ballot. Staying alive were Bobby Abreu, Mark Burley, Jeff Fassero, Sammy Sosa, Andy Pettit, Aramis Ramirez, really, Julio Franco, Scott Rowland, Andrew Jones, Jeff Kent, Todd Helton, Billy Wagner, Omar Vizquel, Manny Ramirez, Tim Hudson, and Gary Sheffield. So we have Schilling, Clemens, and Bonds. And that's all fine. All right, so let's now take a look at our roster. And so now we have Jonathan Lukroy, who needs to be placed on the 40-man roster. which means somebody has to go. So who is going to go? It's a very interesting question. Danny Jimenez, I mean, that stuff rating is fantastic. Definitely need the catcher. So who is going to go? And I'm going to think about... It's a tough question, isn't it? I mean, a lot of these guys have potential. So, for example, Elvis Luciano. You know, I don't want to get rid of him. Tanner Roark, I'd love to get rid of, but I don't want to just release him and get nothing. I want him to start the season. Hopefully he'll put together a decent start to the season, and then maybe I can trade him. I do like all the relievers. I mean, Eflin I like the least, and I'm not sure why I signed him. It may have had a better scouting report that made him look better. Julian Fernandez also has some potential, so I'm not gonna really dump him just yet, and I just acquired him. I'm gonna let him sit there DFA'd for a few days, and I'm gonna explore some trades. I'm gonna see if I can trade Derrick Fisher. He seemed to have some interest from other teams, so I'm actually going to we're just gonna sim a couple of days and see if anybody makes any offers. So here we have a trade proposal. They want to trade Craig Kimbrell for Joe Panik. I wonder if we can do a little... I don't really want Craig Kimbrell, although Kimbrell is fantastic. They want Joe Panik. I'm going to see if I can do a bait and switch and offer them Trent Thornton. Where is... sorry, Derrick Fisher. And they like that, so obviously that's a deal that they're happy with. Let's see if they can take 50%. And again, this is close to something that they would... Yeah, so 45%. And if we can grab a prospect here, Brennan Davis has potential. That's pretty solid. Good defense. Let's see if Brennan Davis... Now, he's a lower prospect, so let's see if I can add him to this trade. They don't like that. They don't like that, but let's see what they would want to make it work. No, they want a lot to make that work. So we'll remove Brennan Davis. How about Kevin Maid? Kevin Maid's just 18. Dominican player. Yeah, he's got... So, you know, he's kind of the definition of a throw-in, because he has potential. And they don't like that one at all. What if I go down to 40%? Will that help? No. Okay, but Craig Kimbrell is still really good. I want to see how many years are left. So, okay, so that's why he's making $16 million. He's got a team option, so it's really only 1 year. And we can definitely, I think, add that contract. I mean, that's just stellar. 84 strikeouts and 55 and 2/3 innings. I'm actually considering, and now the only problem with this is that if we make this trade, we would completely lose that roster spot that we're trying to get for the catcher. So I'm wondering if we drop him and if we actually try to get a prospect. And they don't like that either. Okay, so we're going to just get rid of this. We're going to go back here. I'm going to give it another day or two before we have to do something with Lukroy. All right, so if nobody's biting here, I'm just going to shop him around. This might take a while. I'm just going to pause the... so let's shop him around. And I'm going to pause. All right, so After weighing a few different possibilities, the guy that I really liked was Paul Campbell of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, or Rays. The thing I liked about him is he has some solid numbers in AAA already. Most of the guys that I was getting offered are these 2.5 to 3-star players. Some of the pitchers would have great ratings in one thing, but it would sort of overcompensate for the fact that there was a major deficiency somewhere else. So Campbell doesn't have any of these major deficiencies. He is a neutral guy. He has decent velocity. He has 4 pitches, and 3 of them are already or 2 of them are all 4 of them are already over a 50 in terms of their rating. He's a 50 movement, and again, we're trying to keep that movement rating as high as we can. He's still got a little bit of room to grow in the stuff. I don't know how much time he has to do that. But good control, only 24 walks in 115 innings in Durham. Intelligent on and off the field, so that intelligence rating really does help things. His scouting report, potential control drops to 60. 60 is still a great rating for control, and he's there now, it seems. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of positives here. So he's the guy. And so we're going to ask for a prospect as well, because they seem to want one. Would this work? They wouldn't like that. We're going to go for like a throw-in type, in this range. So they've got a lot of catchers. Let's see what Chris bets. And let's see Michael Berglund. He's got a lot of room to improve, but not a lot of time to really develop. It's never a bad thing to go after a pitcher, and especially one with just fairly even things there. Oh, he can't be drafted. He was just can't be traded. He was just drafted less than a year ago. Trey Cumby. Not great there for the stuff. John Duxaxis. Not bad, but not great either. He's only gotten to A-ball. He's 22. All right, you know what? I'm just going to take this deal. It may not be the perfect deal, but I do like the fact that it's just helping us clear out that roster spot. Jonathan Lukroy we can now put on the 40-man. We can put on the active roster. And Paul Campbell, I think he was probably placed on one of our lower tier. He wouldn't be in the complex. He would be in either the DSL or the GCL. So it's Campbell, so I think he's going to be in the GCL. Paul Campbell, there he is. So we're going to move him up to Buffalo. All right. And let's continue. So now we have our backup catcher. So we're going to actually autoplay until spring training starts. And we have a player development update. So these are great to just get an idea of who is moving where. So Yusniel Diaz, his potential power is dropping, potential rating dropping. Kazue Tsutsumi dropping. PJ Poulin has improved. Yency Diaz has improved. Cameron Eden has improved a little bit. Overall rating is improved. Simeon Woods Richardson improved, but his potential rating has dropped. PK Morris has shown some improvements. John Solarte has shown some dropping in power, and defensive rating improves. And overall potential ratings improve. Chris Rivera, some improvement there. Orelvis Martinez, his eye potential is dropping, but defensive rating is going up. Jacob Smith, current control rating improves, but potential rating drops. Alexander Ayala, current stuff rating improves, current control rating drops, and stamina improves. Velocity is up a tick. Wyatt Langford, eye rating improved, defensive rating improved. Lucas Cook, current contact improves and potential power improves. And Gavin Casas, current contact rating but potential drop rating, power rating drops. All right. So we are going to play until spring training begins. So this is interesting. I've never seen this, but we have a message here from Kevin Biggio, who needs the team's help to try to help the community. So we are going to give a donation. And so we'll see how that helps us. And spring training has begun. So we're going to get things ready to play spring training. All right, and we have arrived at spring training. So the one thing we want to do here is we just want to set up our roster and see if there's any non-roster free agents we want to invite. So we're just going to set up our staff here. We have 24 pitchers in camp, and we have 16 position players. So we're going to probably invite some position players to spring training. We always need a couple more catchers. We're going to, let's see if we are allowed to invite. I think we're going to have to do that through the roster transaction screen. Here we have spring training roster. Okay, so now we can actually get to inviting some players. So again, we want some position players. We're going to have Riley Adams. We're going to invite Josh Palacios. I mean, we do have a lot of outfielders, so I'm not too worried about that. Remember, we did sign Jonathan Lukroy. We have Gabriel Moreno on the 40-man now. We could use a couple of infielders just to fill out the roster. So we're going to invite Kevin Vicuña, going down to Double-A. I mean, 24 pitchers is a lot to manage, and the way things work is more like a regular game than a spring training game where a guy will play 5 innings in spring training and then, you know, go to the clubhouse and leave right after. So, you know, we're not going to get as many players into games as we normally might. Yeah, so Paolo Usting, he's a guy, so let's give him a non-roster invite. So we just invited 4 players. It's not a huge deal. Infielders are the guys that we probably need, but we don't have a lot of really solid infield depth in the major leagues and in the high minors. Maybe something to address in free agency as we get closer to the season, just to boost our depth a little bit. Actually, I wouldn't mind giving him a little bit of a look-see. And Paul Campbell is a guy I think we just acquired, so he'd be nice to have in camp. All right, so that is our spring training roster. I do like to have kind of I'm going to get rid of the pitch count on Nate Pearson. He's already been in the major leagues a year. I think we can just do that. All right, so Nate Pearson is now no limit to his pitches. All right, and I do like to go with a 6-man rotation, at least for the first half of spring training. So we're going to ask the bench coach, and they like Kazue Tsutsumi for the 6th starting role. And you can see here we've got Elvis Luciano. He'll probably start back in Double-A. Zach Eflin is probably, maybe a little bit on the hook or on the edge of making this team. All right, so that's how we're going to set things up here. Lineups, we don't have a ton of guys. We have 20 guys, so we'll just sort of let things play out as they will. Yeah, I do like getting Yusniel Diaz. Actually, I do want him to get more time in center field, so I'm going to go set position for start at center. Mainly because Diaz can play center, and I want to get that up. Remember we had said we want Vladimir Guerrero to play first base. So now we're going to force start him at first base. And now we should set that up. That takes care of that. And Shaw goes back to third base, where that's great. And Luis Garcia, our Rule 5 draftee, is going to get some time at third base, and so that's actually nice to see. All right, so here we go. Review the spring training roster. We've already done that. So we're going to go to finish today. That's going to sim our first game. We won. That's nice to see. I mean, again, these results are not all that important. Randall Grichuk with a pinch hit home run, looks like. Danny Jansen with a home run, Josh Palacios with a home run, and Yusniel Diaz was 1 for 4. On the mound, Nate Pearson gave up 4 runs. Again, 2 home runs. We're not really worried about results at this point. All right, so that's day 1. We have no game today, so we're going to go to play at Oakland, which is weird because we would totally not play against Oakland in spring training. They do need to add sort of the cactus leagues and grapefruit leagues here. So we had a nice game. Another one from Josh Palacios. He was 2 for 2 with a home run. Danny Jansen hit a home run. I believe this is actually... Yeah, that's the box score for the first game. Here's the box score for the second game. Billy McKinney was 3 for 3. Joe Panik 2 for 2. Yusniel Diaz 2 for 3. Grichuk 1 for 2 with his second home run. Bo Bichette with a home run, 1 for 2. Hyunjin Ryu was pitched pretty well. Shun Yamaguchi pitched okay, walked 3, but he didn't give up any home runs. Ryan Baraki and Spring Ballpark. That's a beautiful place. And no injuries, so that's always the most important part. Next game, we're going to play against Chicago. And it was a 9-1 win. Again, Chicago is trains out in Arizona, not in Florida. Luis Garcia was 1 for 3 with a triple. There we go. With lots of doubles. Yusniel Diaz, Jonathan Lukroy, Billy McKinney, Santiago Espinal, Kevin Biggio, and Gabby Moreno. On the mound, Sean Reed-Foley with 7 strikeouts in just 4 innings. So a nice outing there for Sean Reed-Foley. Curtis Taylor had a nice outing too. Patrick Murphy. So not bad. Not bad. And we're going to continue playing against Kansas City, another Arizona team. We won 10-7 in 12 innings, although that wouldn't happen in spring training either. Vladdy Guerrero, 3 for 6. No home run there. Kevin Biggio, 2 for 2 with 5 RBI, including 2 home runs. Yusniel Diaz with a home run as well. And Spencer Turnbull got lit up at the beginning of the game. Zach Eflin gave up a run. Jordan Romano. Lots of guys getting in. Julian Fernandez, solid. Wade Davis. Ken Giles gave up a run. Anthony Kay, 3 scoreless innings in relief. And we're going to finish today, and we have Tampa Bay, a win, finally a team who actually plays in the Grapefruit League. Bo Bichette with a couple hits, Danny Jansen with a solo home run, Alejandro Kirk with a 2-run single. Danny Jansen there. And Matt Boyd, 5 strikeouts in 4 innings on the mound in his first start. Elvis Luciano walked 1 2/3. And that's a nice game for the Blue Jays. And continuing on, Houston. So Houston, we lost 5-4. Mookie Betts is a Houston Astro in this world. He went to the Dodgers for 1 year. Didn't sign that, 12-year, $365 million extension that he just did in real life. Randall Grichuk here with a home run. Looks like, third home run of the spring. Nate Pearson, his second start of the spring. 4 innings, 2 runs. 5 strikeouts. That's a better start for him. Danny Jimenez, 4 strikeouts in 1 2/3, and Thomas Hatch got hit a little bit. 4 walks. That's a big, tough thing to see. Playing Cleveland, another Arizona training team. We lost to Cleveland 4-1. Not much offense here, just 5 hits. And on the mound, Tsutsumi gave up 4 runs. Tanner Roark, just 1 hit in 2 2/3 innings. Shun Yamaguchi, 6 strikeouts in 2 1/3. Now we're going to face Boston. It is now February 26th. We keep going here, facing Boston, and we lost 4-1, just 5 hits. That's the Cleveland box score. We won 5-3. Bo Bichette with another home run. Alejandro Kirk with a double. Kevin Biggio with a triple. And Yusniel Diaz, 1 for 3. And Luis Garcia, 1 for 2. And he's a nice pick, I think, for the Rule 5, because you see he is still 20 years old. And he won't be 21 until May. And if we look at his batting stats and go split, we can't do split there. We do a game log. Yeah, we have a game log here at least. Yeah, he's not doing bad. So I think he's going to keep his head above water, and he could turn out to be quite a useful player for the Jays long term. Hyunjin Ryu with another start. Patrick Murphy, 3 scoreless innings. Nice to see there. Bullpen was really good. Tim Meza back in action, offering us, hopefully more consistent lefty than we had last year. Last season, our lefties in the bullpen were just not getting the job done. All right, here we go. February 27th, we have Wade Davis with an oblique injury. So we put him on the injured list. So he's probably going to not make it to the start of the season, thanks to that injury. Losing to Seattle 8-3. 2 hits here for Lourdes Gurriel. And Sean Reed Foley getting rocked for 6 runs. Elvis Luciano, not a bad outing, but the walks are a little bit high. And we're going to finish that date and play against Julio Teheran and some of the other guys in Minnesota. So we have some updates here. So Hyunjin Ryu is now on the decline. He's now at a 2.5 stars. Potential control, current and potential control at 60, current and potential stuff down to 45. Elvis Luciano is ticking upwards, potential rating improving to 3.5, and his current control rating improves to 45. He's added some velocity, and his overall rating has improved as a reliever. Anthony Kay has improved his control to 55, or potential control to 55. Current movement is improved to 50. Matthew Boyd is a little worse than we thought. Gabby Moreno, he's lost some speed, which is normal as as a catcher, and B, just as any player ages. And his power rating has improved. Danny Jansen, his current eye has improved, and he's got an overall improvement to 3.5 stars. Billy McKinney, he's lost a little bit of speed, but he's improved his defensive rating and his overall rating. Ty Tice has improved potential movement and current movement to 60. Justin Maesi has declined a little bit. Jordan Groshans has improved. Current power, current eye, overall rating. So that's actually really nice to see. Hopefully that will translate into production. It didn't last year. His prospect sort of level didn't translate into production. Hunter Steinmetz has gotten faster, but he's also lost some power. According to our scouts, Leonardo Jimenez, lower potential contact and current speed improves. Adrian Ramos, improved current contact, potential power rating drops. DeSan Brown, current contact rating improves, current defensive rating improves. So nice to see. Camden Minacci improves velocity, improves potential rating. Glenn Santiago. Esteban Machado, here's a guy we want to see improve. Current contact improves, overall rating improves, potential rating improves. Jose Izara, contact rating improves, overall improves. Steven Rivas, contact rating and potential rating both improved. Robbie Ashford, eye rating improves a little bit, and his potential rating improves. And finally, Jag Burden, his defensive rating in right field and potential rating overall. All right, so, and let's get to our box score here against the Twins. Vladdy Guerrero looks like he hit a home run, and he did. Gurriel and Shaw also went deep. And on the mound, Spencer Turnbull with another shellacking. That was not pretty. So we're going to play against Baltimore. It is now March. We are marching towards opening day. We lost against Baltimore. And a hit for Bichette. Gurriel had a run-scoring single. Not a lot of offense here in this one either. 11 hits, though, but just 3 runs. Joe Panik with a double. Luis Garcia with a triple. That's his second triple of the spring. Danny Jansen was caught stealing twice. Way to go, Danny. Matt Boyd gets roughed up a little bit. Not a great start, not a bad one. Thomas Hatch, not bad, but he did walk 3 guys. And Anthony Kay finished it off, giving up an unearned run. And the Jays have a day off today, so we're going to sim that, and we're going to play against Detroit with a 4-0 win. Good job on the pitcher, Santiago Espinal with 3 hits, including an RBI single. Vladdy Guerrero with a 2-run home run, going 1 for 3. On the mound, Nate Pearson, doing Nate Pearson things. But he was injured while pitching, and it looks like it's going to be a day-to-day thing. So that's not a good sign. Curtis Taylor really came out of the bullpen and brought his A game, and Shun Yamaguchi as well. So some nice stuff there, aside from the minor injury to Pearson. So we lost to Detroit in the next game, and Gurriel looks like he might have hit one out. He did. Travis Shaw hit one out. Billy McKinney, 2 for 3. And Hyunjin Ryu, solid outing for him. Everybody else got touched up. Meza, Eflin, and Paul Campbell. And Eflin is a righty. I was just checking to see if he was a lefty. Paul Campbell, 1 inning for him. Okay, so we're going to make some cuts now, just to get, the guys that we want to get more time. We're going to just let them get more time. So we're going to go to our pitching staff. Pitching staff is where we really need to cut guys. So we're just going to do our split game type, spring training. All right, so Pearson, obviously, he's not going to pitch again for several days. Tsutsumi, I'm going to leave. Spencer Turnbull, I'm going to leave. Paul Campbell I'm going to keep him around, but Danny Jimenez, he's been really good, but I'm just going to send him to Buffalo. Rafael Delis, Anthony Kay, Julian Fernandez, he's going to go down to Buffalo. Julian Fernandez, he's only pitched in 2 innings, so especially guys who are just not getting any innings. Luciano, I actually want to keep him around a little bit. Patrick Murphy, I'm going to keep him around. Hatch is fine. Wilmer Font has he's given up a bunch of runs. Julian Merriweather, I wonder if he's out of options. He is out of options, so I'm not going to be able to just send him down. That's going to be a tough one for Merriweather, because he's going to have to go through waivers. Tanner Rourke, obviously, is going to give us a headache. Zach Eflin, he does have an option year, so if he continues to kind of stink, I can send him to the minors. I will give him a little bit more of a chance. Tim Meza obviously is going to get more of a chance, and so will Ryan Baraki. So, yeah, I guess I didn't really send down too many guys. Yeah, I'm going to send down Elvis Luciano. I'm going to send him back to AA. All right, so that's now we still have 22 pitchers, so that's quite a few, and it's going to be a lot of thinking about what's going to happen. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to move Tanner Rourke into the starting rotation. If we can get value out of him as a starter, especially at his salary, I want to do that. And I think Sean Reed Foley, who is probably out of options. No, he's got 1 option year left, so I can send him back down. All right, so that is what I'm going to do. Rourke, K. Oh, and they've brought K back into the starting rotation. That's nice to see. Ryu, Pearson, Rourke, K, Turnbull, and Boyd. So I think it's going to be between K, Boyd, and Turnbull for that final spot in the rotation. Here we've got 20 guys. We're going to send Riley Adams down. He hasn't really played at all to Buffalo. Gabby Moreno, he's going to go to AA. So we don't need that many catchers right now. Vladdy Guerrero, has he progressed? Yeah, he's already at a 30 for first base. So that is something that is really great to see, that he is really taking to first base nicely. And yeah, Kevin Vicuña, he's going to go and he's going to go down to Buffalo. Paolo Oosting, he's going to go back to Buffalo. And Josh Palacios. Oh, he's been hitting pretty well. I'm going to leave him up. All right, so that leaves us with 16 hitters and I think 22 players, 22 pitchers. Now, some of these guys are obviously non-roster invitees, so I don't have to do anything with them. I don't have to put them on waivers. And our next game against the LA Angels, we lost Mike Trout went 1 for 3. On our side, Lourdes Gurriel had 2 hits, and so did Randall Grichuk, had 3, both hit home runs. And on the mound, Tanner Roark, 6 strikeouts, but 3 runs in 4 innings. And Kazuo Tsutsumi, 1 run, 5 strikeouts in 3 1/3. All right, facing the Yankees and Garrett Cole, we lost 9-1. How many innings did Cole go? 4. 1 hit allowed in 4 innings. Spencer Turnbull, 3 runs allowed in 3 1/3. I'm just going to check Turnbull. He's 28, and he has 1 option year remaining. So he could go to the minors, too. Trent Thornton gave up 6 runs, and Thomas Hatch pitched a scoreless inning. Trent Thornton is pitching his way out of a potential job. And a day off on March 7th, so now we play the Oakland A's on March the 8th. And we have a 9-3 win. And just checking the box score quickly, Vladdy Guerrero looks like he hit a home run, and he did. JD Martinez hit a home run. Alejandro Kirk hit a home run. Good for you, Alejandro Kirk. Travis Shaw hit 2 home runs, going 2 for 2 with 2 walks and 3 RBI. Anthony Kay, 8 strikeouts in 4 innings. Julian Merriweather struck out 3 in 2 innings, but also gave up a run. And Ryan Baracchi, 3 scoreless innings for the save. All right, and we got a 4-2 win against the White Sox. JD Martinez with, looks like a home run there. He's heating up. He hit a double. Billy McKinney and Vladdy Guerrero also hit doubles. Nate Pearson back in the game. 2 runs in 4 innings. Thomas Hatch, solid. Zach Eflin, solid. And Ken Giles, solid. Vladdy Guerrero, player of the game. And that is all. Okay, 3-2 win over Kansas City. Not too many hits, just 8 hits, 1 hit apiece for everybody. Home run from Lourdes Gurriel, and Hyunjin Ryu with 4 scoreless innings. Jordan Romano gave up a couple runs. Paul Campbell with a 1 1/3, and Ken Giles. Travis Shaw was injured. He's got a sore thumb, so he's going to be okay. We're going to finish today. We won against Tampa Bay. 3 hits from Bo Bichette, including 3 singles. Vladdy Guerrero, 2 for 4. Billy McKinney, 2 hits. Lourdes Gurriel, 2 hits. Not bad game offensively. Tanner Roark, 3 runs in 4 innings. Patrick Murphy, he looks like he's really showing up this spring. He hasn't given up a run yet. Curtis Taylor, Paul Campbell. All right, and we lost to Houston in 11 innings. I think that's our 2nd extra inning game against Houston in the spring. Luis Garcia, 2 for 3. And Bo Bichette had 2 hits, only multi-hit games. And on the mound, Spencer Turnbull, his first not horrible start of the season. Tsutsumi, not bad. Giles. Thornton got the loss. Thornton is definitely going to get demoted. And I'm going to do that now. So I'm sending Thornton to Buffalo. I'm going to also send, I think Reed Foley is out of options as well. No, he seems to have 1 option year left. I'm going to send him to Buffalo. He has not been good in the spring. All right, we're down to 20 pitchers. Tsutsumi is not going to make the team. I've been a little bit pleasantly surprised by him. I'm going to demote him to Buffalo. I may have to go and do some of this again. I'm going to send Curtis Taylor back to Buffalo. I may have to do some of this again just on the spring train. Oh, no, it's sending them back. So in the spring training roster, I'm down to 34. Okay. And I'm just going to get my bench coach to give me the staff. Now I'm going to go down to a 5-man rotation. And yeah, that's what I thought would happen, is that Matthew Boyd was going to get that now. So, oops. We do have Tanner Roark here. And I'm going to actually do this. All right. So now we have Tanner Roark with a starting spot. And this is actually not bad. I'd hope to trade Tanner Roark in the offseason, but, you know, this could be worse. And we have Spencer Turnbull in the bullpen. We're going to make him a middle reliever. He'll be in the bullpen for now. And really, now we've got 18 players. We've got about 5 spots. We're going to have to make 5 moves. So right now, I'm leaning to Patrick Murphy going down to AAA. Thomas Hatch going back down to AAA. Spencer Turnbull going down to AAA. And that's 3 of the 5. Merriweather has struck out a lot of guys, but that movement rating is not great, and he's got a 4.50 ERA. I'm probably going to see guys like Merriweather and Campbell go down to AAA. Campbell's an easy one because he is a non-roster invitee. He's done very well. A lot of strikeouts for just 4 2/3 innings. So it's looking like our bullpen is going to line up with Meza as our lefty, Yamaguchi, Font, Baraki, Romano, Dolis, and Giles. So that's looking like what the bullpen's going to be. We have 16 players. We just have 3 guys we need to cut, and that's not going to be difficult. Okay. We are actually going to, instead of just simulating every game one at a time now, we're going to go to, we've got 12 days till opening day. We're going to autoplay till next week. All right, and we're going to autoplay again until opening day. I mean, if something comes up, we will get a notification. Like Hyunjin Ryu is out for a week. Where's Ryu? So he's day-to-day. He's out for a week. If I place on the injured list, it's 15 days. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let that play out. So what we're going to do in the rest of this sim is we are going to sim to opening day. Recovery is unclear. Okay, so we're going to put him on the injured list. Retroactive to the 17th. And that'll just get him out of there. Okay, so as I was going to say, what we're going to do is we're going to sim to opening day. We're going to set our roster, and that will be it for it. And in our next episode, we will be ripe and ready for the beginning of the 2021 season. Okay, so autoplay was interrupted. We still have, and we're at opening day. So we have a couple of messages here. Our season expectation is playing better than 500 baseball. Top 100 prospects list was released. We have nobody in the top 10. In the top prospects report, our top guy appears to be, here we go, 88 Luis Garcia, 90 Alfredo Chacon. I think we might have a pitching prospect who's higher than that. Here we go, Simeon Woods Richardson appears to be our top prospect at number 60. So that's not too encouraging. And it's opening day. We're going to open up against the Tampa Bay Rays, which is fairly common for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now let's get our roster down to the 26-man roster that we need. Here we go. Pitching staff. We need to get, I think, 4 players off. Right, because Hyunjin Ryu is on the injured list. So, Paul Campbell. How did he finish his spring training? Game type, spring training. Oh, it's not going to give it to me because it's opening. Oh, it is. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so Paul Campbell, 352, 8 strikeouts and 7 2/3 innings. That's not bad, but I am going to send him down to AAA. Okay, that leaves us with 3 more players that we need to cut. Spencer Turnbull is looking like he's going to be useful. Patrick Murphy, really strong numbers here. I am going to send him down to Buffalo, but he impressed me this spring. So we have Zach Eflin, we have Thomas Hatch. How did Hatch do? 11 innings, 8 strikeouts, 10 walks. That's definitely not major league material. We're going to send him down to the minors, and we just need 1 more cut before we can get going. So the question is going to be, is it going to be Spencer Turnbull or Zach Eflin? And it looks like Eflin is going to be the guy. So this is our staff. Right now with Hyunjin Ryu on the injured list, we have Pearson, Kay, Turnbull, Boyd, and Rourke. Closers, Ken Giles, of course, Dolis, Romano. Wade Davis is on the injured list, so we don't get him back. Shun Yamaguchi, Ryan Baraki, Wilmer Font, Julian Mayweather, who makes the team likely due to... Well, he didn't pitch badly, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And Tim Meza is our situational lefty, back off the injured list after Tommy John surgery. And now offensively, obviously, Alejandro Kirk is going to go down to AAA. Joe Panic is here. We're going to send Santiago Espinal, since we're keeping Luis Garcia, because he is because he's a Rule 5 pick. I'm just going to take a look here. League scope, that's fine. View. It's not going to show me fielding stats for spring training. Maybe fielding stats for spring training. Yusniel Diaz, it's not going to give me anything useful here. That's disappointing. So Diaz is, the question now becomes, we have to cut one guy. So it's going to be Palacios. So it's actually a pretty easy decision. It's nice to see Palacios putting up some good numbers in spring training. So how are we going to shake down? Randall Grichuk in center field is a 45, 60, 55, 60. Yusniel Diaz, 60, 60, 55. A little bit worse arm, and he's a 45 in center field. So I'm going to leave Yusniel Diaz in center field. Lourdes is going to play left. Randall Grichuk is actually... So it's really interesting. They've got Randall Grichuk not playing a heck of a lot, and we can't do that. So that's just not going to happen. Grichuk is going to play every day. I mean, we just can't pay that guy that much money. And yeah, we're not going to have that very often. Okay, so this is setting up our roster. Jonathan Lukroy is probably going to get every third game, but he's a nice insurance policy in case Danny Jansen does not improve. And you can see his spring training line. Both of these guys had pretty bad spring training lines. Danny Jansen hit 196. Lukroy hit 195. But at least Danny Jansen had a little bit of power, hitting a couple home runs and having an on-base percentage over 300, which is actually not bad. Vladdy Guerrero, how was his spring? He hit 6 home runs, second on the team, hitting 313, 395, 550. 566. Kevin Biggio, also at second base, really is not doing it offensively. Like Danny Jansen last year, who struggled with the bat in 2020, Kevin Biggio is also struggling with the bat here in spring training, just like he did in 2020. A little bit of power, though. He's got an ISO of 197, 3 home runs, but we'll have to see. Garcia may get some more time. Travis Shaw, 272, 3 AC, he had a nice spring, and so I'm probably going to make him, every 6th game. I'm not going to, maybe every 5th game. I'm not going to sort of force Garcia into that. Bo Bichette, 292, 316, 458. That's a solid spring. Shaw led the team in home runs in the spring with 7, just with 98 plate appearances. Vladdy had more plate appearances, the only guy with more. Lourdes Gurriel, solid spring, so he's our everyday left fielder. 5 home runs, 833 OPS. Yusniel Diaz had a 704 OPS. He's going to get some time now, but we're going to have to see what's going on with him. JD Martinez had a bad spring. Just a 474 OPS. That's just awful. We're going to have to monitor that. And, that may be the place where we can get more playing time for Billy McKinney, is in the DH spot if JD Martinez continues to stink. We have a couple of guys who have big contracts and who may just stink, and that is JD Martinez and Tanner Roark. Martinez here, just not great. This is, I think, he's 2 years on his contract. So it's going to be ugly. We may have to take on a bad contract to get rid of his. Hopefully he will be a little bit more productive once the season starts. Tanner Roark has just this 1 year left on his contract at $12 million. So he's a little bit more expendable. If he's off to a really bad start and we have somebody who can take his place, then he's much more expendable. All right, so that is spring training. The last thing I just wanted to take a look at is, let's see how, and you can see here that Vladdy Guerrero has equaled his third base ability in first base just by playing every day in spring training. And I think that's fantastic. And if he can even push that to 50-55 by the end of the year, again, because he's just 22 years old, he is so young that he's going to develop a lot of these skills faster than guys who are older, so that if he can even build into an average, above average first baseman by the time the season's over, which seeing how quickly he developed in spring training, obviously that's going to be accelerated. But if he can even be an average or slightly above average first baseman, that's going to be great. And it's fantastic to see that he sort of equaled his rating level in just spring training. All right, so that's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'm JayBlue. I'm just going to double check here that we are indeed at the number, because again, with free agents and sort of non-roster guys coming, we're just going to make sure the active roster is at 26. Okay, and the 40 man's at 40. So that's great. Thanks very much. I'm JayBlue at Jays From Away on Twitter, and we are very grateful to General Manager Games for hosting us here on YouTube. Have a great day, and come back soon, folks.